Hi everyone, it's Natalie here. So this week, I thought we would just get straight to business. I don't know why. I thought about doing some chanting and stuff, and then I was like, no, I think I kind of just want to read. Yeah, I've had more tarot readings lately than I have for a while. They just kind of came in like all at once, and I've actually had so much fun reading um, over the last day or two. It's I don't know. It's the combination of like practicing really deeply and then kind of letting it go and playing with the cards and with readings. I mean, not that I take it like playing, but I mean, it is in a way. It's kind of divine play. And it's just been so delightful. So this week, we're going to work with the Numinous Tarot, which I do not have a box for because the box that comes with the deck when you buy it is not really good for storing the cards. So I have this lovely wrap that I made. And I got the idea from Rochelle from Amethyst Ascension. So this is the wrap I did for this deck. I love it. And here's the deck. And then we're also going to work with another of my favorites, which is the Spirit Doodle cards this week. And with Manifesting Your Greatness. Because, because why not? It's just such a delightful deck, and it makes me happy every time I work with it. So I feel like it's a nice way to finish off the reading for the week. So let's see. Let's move these guys out of the way for the moment. So to start with, we have, come into focus here, darling. There we are. We have the Fool from the Numinous Tarot, which I think is one of my favorite Fools anywhere. I've used this deck quite a bit in the last couple of days, and I've just been reminded how much I love it as a working deck. Okay, so that said, let's go ahead and mix it back in. I just realized there's an extra card in this deck, which is the Numinous. So yeah, it's this card. So what do we do if this one shows up in card counting? But I will come up with an idea if that happens. All right. Oops. Oh, that was our Fool. We definitely want that one in there. Okay. Okay, I don't know why I did that. It was just one of those intuitive, like, I'm talking to the deck moments, and the deck was like, yeah, you need to cut. I also did an extra shuffle that I don't normally do, and again, that was intuitive. Yeah, this deck is so chatty, as you can, I don't know if I would have played some of the moments or not. It'll depend on how long this ends up being, but there were a lot of jumpers, so it's just a little insane. It wants to chat. This is a chatty deck. All right, let's go ahead and cut and do first operation. Oh, wow. Okay, this has not happened in a while. So we're in the first pile this week. So unusual. How exciting. So we're in the Wands pile this week. So the Wands are about inspiration. They're about career, purpose, spirituality. Yeah. And basically, any problems that arise for us throughout the week this week will most easily be solved through intuition. So that's the main thing. So whatever comes up, intuition is going to be our way forward. I also feel strongly, the wands involve transformation and change. At least they do for me. I feel like, if you're putting something through the fire, through the element of fire, that's inevitable. So that's something else that stands out to me about this pile. Yeah. All right. Well, let's see what we've got. Okay. So this time we're counting anti-clockwise because our Fool is diving in that direction. So 1, 2, 3. The first card is the Dreamer of Bells, and Dreamers in this deck are the same as pages. So I'm just going to write them down. They're worth a count of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow. Okay, Ace of Bells. Worth 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Ace of Vials. Wow. Okay. So 11 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 8 of Vials. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, okay, 6 of Candles. That's nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's the 4. 4 of Vials. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dreamer of Candles. A lot of new energy here. Yeah, wow, this is very interesting. Okay, so another that is worth 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The Visionary. So that is the same as the Hierophant. And that would be a Zodiac card. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I cannot believe we have not gotten down. Okay, so the Star, big one this week, folks. Okay, the Star. Wow, this is a big reading. Okay. And that is another, I just had a brain fart. Okay, that is another Zodiac. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I knew it. The Awakening. So that's Judgment. That's Elemental. So 1, 2, 3. All right, that is the end of the cycle. I knew that was going to be a major card when I saw that, and I was laying these out. I thought that's going to be an important card this week. And I was going to talk about it, even if it did not make the card counting cycle, but it seems to have. I will double check it. If I got it wrong, I'll be back. If not, I'll see you on the flip side. I can't get all of the cards into one shot here. I don't have enough space to really do that effectively. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about it. We're just going to swivel. We'll swivel. And I keep, every time I think, oh, I've got enough crystal friends, I don't need to acquire any, they keep showing up. So that's how it goes. But they help me. They're my tools. They're my friends. So, that said, we've got a lot here. So, we'll swivel and I will hold cards up, which I do anyway. Even though normally, I mean, there's a lot of little caveats this week, aren't there? A lot of little differences. Normally, I would say, you know, the Dreamer of Bells, 6 candles and the 4 vials, hold, you know, the crux of what we're doing this week, what we're working on this week. However, as we swivel a little bit this direction, and I went a little too far there, these 3 cards at the end really literally and figuratively trump the rest of the spread. To have the Visionary, the Star, and awakening or judgment show up, at the end of the end of the spread feels so significant. So we've got some serious healing to do on ourselves this week. That I think we're not going to have a lot of choice in having to address, in all honesty. Yeah, that's definitely how it feels. This deck is brilliant because it's so loving, and yet it really does not pull any punches. It will really tell you the truth. I went ahead and shuffled and pulled one card for us this week, and the card we have is Integrate. And it is the only earth element present in our entire spread this week. Yeah, we don't have any other. We have Taurus represented by the visionary, but yeah, everything else here is pretty much all fire, water, and air. Interestingly, this one starts off with a quote from Winston Churchill, and I feel like that's very significant because it's kind of an unusual person to have quoted here. When there is no enemy within, the enemies outside cannot hurt you. So beautiful. I think Winston Churchill wins the Dharma Award because, like, that's kind of the most beautiful self-compassion statement you could possibly make. Yeah, so this card depicts two streams of energy. One stream is pushing out while the other is coming in. The pushing out stream represents love that is being sent out in peace and healing to everyone involved in a given situation, returning the energy that belongs to each individual. The coming in stream represents love that is calling back parts of ourselves that have been left behind so that those energies can be transmuted and reused. It is fundamentally important to master this process of reintegration in which we call back all energies that belong to us. To paraphrase Churchill's advice, if we have cleared up all the energy exchanges and are complete in ourselves, no hook can be attached to us and no enemy can find their way in. We will have sealed the door. Another aspect of this card involves going back in time to examine karmic patterns and to integrate traumatic experiences for the benefit of the soul's evolution. Calling back the pieces of our souls left behind in traumatic past life experiences is just as important as retrieving the pieces lost in this current life. A wound is a wound no matter when it was inflicted. When this card comes up, you are asked to clear the energetic field. Call back to yourself all emotional pieces that have been given away. Likewise, give back that which you have taken. Thank the people involved for the lessons they have taught you and walk away in peace. Do not try to fake this process. Anger will freeze the energy. If necessary, you might want to seek out support and assistance of an expert in past life regression. Or a therapist. I know a lot of therapists. That's just me. That wasn't Elrond. But therapists, I've said this many, many times because it's been so transformative for me personally. And I feel like anytime there's something that works, that's helpful, I want to share it. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's so nothing too huge, right? We're not being asked to solve the world or anything like that. And we're being asked to integrate. We're being asked to call our souls back to ourselves on a very deep level. And I feel like that's absolutely the case this week. So let's look at this more clearly, a little more carefully. I got to get out of my chair so I can get to my cards. Let's see if we're in the shot. We are. Okay. So, yeah, looking at this Dreamer of Bells and the Ace of Bells. Let's just start here, folks. I mean, this is major. A major, how do we put, the page of the Dreamer of Bells, big truths, big truth telling, big, open, resonant ideas, thoughts, new ideas, new energies, changes, etc. And you know, the thing with this particular suit in this deck, what do I want to say? This suit in this particular deck, you know, the bells for me have a very different energy than swords, right? These are going to hold some slightly different connotations. You know, bells are about space. They are about clearing space, opening space, divine energy. So even though this is technically an Ace of Swords, that isn't exactly how I read it. It is about the mind. It is about something that's new and fresh. But for me, this is more about purification, the clearing of old ideas, new things that resonate and sort of erupt, you know, very suddenly out of space, but with clearness, clarity. So I feel like we're going to be told, or we're going to find out. I mean, the bells and hearing, you know, truth, and it is going to blow open the mind this week. As it opens the mind, of course, it would make sense on some level then that the heart will burst open along with it. It's very pure, very open energy. These are hard to specify because they're representing energies that are going to move in and through. So something about the news, information, truth telling, something that's thrown out there in a very naive and, you know, possibly very careless way. It could be information, it could be news, it could be an idea. It may come from somebody who is actually very young, or it may come from somebody who's very naive. Either one. Okay. I don't want to get more specific than that because I feel like the number of ways in which this could play out is really tremendous. But I also have the sense, this is just a gut feeling, that we're looking at something that's public. Yeah, it feels really like it's a public announcement. Yeah, it has that feel to it. It may not be, it may be on a more personal level, but that's kind of just my gut response. I don't know why. I guess we'll find out. Big news, big stuff, big ideas. I don't know where it's coming from or from whom, but it feels very significant and it feels public. So it feels like something that everybody will be attuned to and hearing about. And the energies that are brought in by this are one of clearing space. That's the best way to put it. I mean, the way the energy of this card looks is the way that I'm hearing, feeling, experiencing it, the way it's coming through, and it's not easily verbalized. Similarly, expect waves of emotion, like the cork was literally popped out of the bottle. I can't say what kind of relief is the first word that came to mind. But this idea of something being uncorked and let loose, unleashed, is part of that energy. There's a lot. It's a big wave, literally a big wave. There's a lot of this emotional energy, a lot of this clarity energy, but it's the clarity energy. You know, it's the clearing of something, the purifying of something. The clear as a bell, ring of truth, sensation or feel that is what's creating this. Enough of that. Sometimes it's hard to put words to things and then you use way too many. There will be something to walk away from. You know, it will bring that clarity, and that emotion is going to tell us what we need to leave behind, what we need to put behind us. You know, the things we need to let go of. This one is so specific. It's so, you know, the cigarette burning in the distance and the bottles of alcohol and, looking kind of worn and exhausted and haggard and red-eyed, like I need to stop with my addictions. It could be that simple, or it could really be leaving something alone, shutting the window, shutting the door, and walking away, more like a traditional Eight of Cups. But it's definitely turning our back on something and letting it go, putting it away, walking away, and seeing the need to walk away from it. These are major, big new energies. Six of Candles, like there's some kind of victory, some kind of something to celebrate that is public. To me, it's this, right? It's a reversal. Except that is being presented this way. Regardless of which side of the political spectrum you're on, most people would say that they feel that, it's the truth is one thing, but what's being spoken about is another. Whether it's a side or whether it's both sides or whether it's nothing to do with sides, there's going to be some kind of declaration of balance, victory, something being triumphed over. And so this will be like the public presentation of it. The truth of it is less than satisfying this way. Whatever we're starting with this week that happens with the Dreamer of Bells, this kind of truth being told that brings in these energies, right, of all of this clarity. Yeah, it's clarity. And this wave of emotion, this uncorking of emotion and feeling, the recognition then that we need to walk away from something or turn our back on something is going to be present along with that. It then brings us to this odd moment where outwardly what we're getting is this, and inwardly we're getting this. Okay, it's dissatisfying, it's discouraging, it's not what we expected, and it's like putting on a big show and then having the response to that big show or that big victorious, hey, is nope, not enough, not what I needed, not what I wanted. It has the feeling of cognitive dissonance, terrible, terrible cognitive dissonance. Yeah. Kind of strong. It'll be strong. There's no point in sugarcoating it. So, the key then is what next, okay? And I feel like with this integrate, right? Integrate, this is the key for us. This is how we rebalance in the wake of all of this stuff. This is how we find our balance. This is how we reclaim our stability. And this is how we find the way to move forward. And in terms of calling back parts of ourselves, this Dreamer of Candles, it feels like this is what we need to do moving forward, right? There's so much here with the visionary next to it. We'll go there. We'll get there. And even with this, with our Four of Vials is like, okay, this over here, I don't believe it. Her back is turned. I'm not buying it. She's not looking here, and she's not looking at all the pretties. She's like, I can't take anything more in. I can't deal with any more of this stuff, this conflict. And the answer to that is she's looking to this. She's looking forward, and she's looking into things that are, much more deeply, at a much deeper level than all of this. And perhaps I feel all of this getting up to here. Again, we've got another one of these even ones where things are split right down the middle almost, in a really odd way. But I feel like she's kind of, if she's us, the events and things leading up to this point are actually all for the best. This is a big awakening moment. Let's see, yeah. I mean, these two opposite each other, right? We have a Dreamer of Bells and Awakening. Leaving the cave. This is Plato's cave. This is the person realizing that all of those things that were projections on the wall are not the truth. They're not the reality. And making the choice to walk out of that cave and into the light, right? So those are on either end equally. On either end here, we have, opposite one another, the Ace of Bells and the Star, which is also interesting. We've got all of this cosmic imagery here as well as here. There's quite a bit of overlap. Yeah. So I feel like what we're dealing with here with our Dreamer of Candles is calling. We could think of these little, and there's even, oh my gosh, if you look closely inside, especially one right here, it's like a little person inside of that sphere. So if we think of those as, and in this one almost, I know those are supposed to be fireflies in theory, but at this moment I'm seeing her call back all parts, they calling back all parts of themselves, right? All of our energy, call it back, call it back, call it back. And then when you go from, sorry, that's where we're getting, integrate. This is where that happens. Okay. Then we get the visionary. And the visionary, we've got, this is the integrated. I mean, look, there's a huge leap in power here. Massive. Call back all of those parts of yourself. And it is candles or fire or wands. So yeah, it's the realm of the soul. I mean, that is where we're working. Call those soul parts back. And then when we get to the visionary, with that all integrated, there's so much power. Remembering too, this is the Hierophant. So the Hierophant, if we think of the Hierophant as, and I think it's so appropriate with this deck, my favorite Hierophant, which would be the Mariel Hierophant with Babylon, we're getting kind of a different version, but essentially a similar kind of Hierophant here. A fully integrated one who is, has called all of their parts back, has the space, openness, and compassion to welcome, to self-forgive, pull themselves back in and back together. And to do so for the benefit of others. I mean, that's the element, here that we're looking for, is that this is something that will benefit others, guys. The only way to overcome division, again, is to integrate it within ourselves. Okay, so that we're not, it's this quote, I have to pull it back out. What is it? It's card 45. When there is no enemy within, the enemies outside cannot hurt you. All right. So if you have resolved that part of yourself, you've got the capacity, you will have the capacity to really see truth and hold space for the truth of others. And I think that this is the key to the healing. Without that, we can't heal. We can't heal. We can't heal as a nation or as a world. And we need that right now, badly. I know this is going all over the map, but again, this is how it is. This is how it's coming through. Moving forward from there, we still need them. This, as this takes place, the leap in power again is tremendous. And that leap in power, but from being willing to call back in all of our energy and all of our resources and soul parts, this is what will bring hope, whether it's for the healing of ourselves or the healing of others. Because if you think of it this way, whatever it is, from a shamanic perspective, I know I'm talking to I'm preaching to the choir here, right? But obviously, from a shamanic perspective, whatever it is that you're facing that's giving you difficulty or issues or problems, the more you're able or willing to call back all of your missing parts, and you don't need a shaman to do it for you, right? You can do it yourself. Sometimes we need the witness. There are a lot of us in this community who make brilliant witnesses. If you need a witness for that process, call one, okay? You don't have to do it alone, but everyone is capable. Every one of us is capable. I know every one of us is capable. So begin that process, because the power it restores to you is going to be huge. And we need that in order to be able to move forward. And, again, this is about serving the difficulties, the challenges, and so forth that we're having at the moment. They are all, as I've expected and hoped this whole time, and really had no reason to cause to doubt. It is all in service of our awakening. Of our greater awakening from disconnection, with our planet, with ourselves, with each other, to all of it, right? But we cannot awaken, we cannot come back to unity. We cannot come back to a place where those of us in this community are healers. There's so many of us in here that are healers. We can't do that if we're not willing to face things that are hard. This energy this week is going to be a lot. It's going to call a lot out of us. It's going to ask a lot of us. Just to recap, again, something, whether it feels public, again, it feels very public to me. It may not be. But something is going to rattle the cage. New idea, new perspective, truth-telling, or something being told truthfully and in a way that's naive and unintended. It may not be that this was the intention, or this may just be the result. Either way, the effect of it is shock waves, right? We've got two of them, one after another. So the first shock wave is the sort of stillness and clarity that comes after a bell is rung and silence ensues and the energy is shifted, right? It's big. And then, once that settles, once literally like the dust settles, there is this kind of, something is uncorked inside of us. I feel like this is much more personal than but it is an energy that is, it's a whole energy. There's a whole big wave of energy. It's a lot of emotional energy, and a lot of heart opening. I feel like there's a lot, these lotuses here. This is a lot about opening the heart. Big, big change of mind, change of heart. New ideas, new thoughts, new clarity. Big, big stuff. It's going to shed immediate awareness of the need to move away from something, to let go of something that may have been harmful. And it feels like then, and this is all still feeling public, like both, like a mix of public-private, there is a sense then that, okay, well, if we're turning our back on this, then here's the solution. Victory, it's all done. Right? I don't feel that that's the case. Again, we come back to a Vials card. she's got her back, she's turning her back here. Interesting too, because actually with this cake, with this 6 of candles, he's turning this person's turning their back, this person's turning their back to whatever's being presented here. This doesn't feel like it's true. It feels like a cake that's hiding a turd, or a cake that once you cut past like the first layer, it's like all cardboard under there. It's that kind of a feel to it. And the whole thing is dissatisfying. It's not what we're looking for. It's not what we need. And it's not what's going to heal, right? It's not what's going to do the trick. So what we're being asked to do then here is, Dreamer of Candles, call back in all of our parts. Major jump in energy and power that takes us, to the position of the Hierophant or Visionary, and moves things generally, universally. Being willing to do this has a huge impact, folks. It's really, we think that the work we do on ourselves isn't that important, but it's huge. It's transformative, not just for us, but for a lot of people. Anyone that comes into contact with us is aware of it, Whether they can verbalize that or not is another thing, but it has a major impact on the entire field around us. Yeah, so there is, this is hopeful. This will bring hope, and all of this is in service of our awakening. I mean, I don't feel like this is a result. This is just telling us where we're headed. Again, I'm not following my usual formula this week, and I know that, but I don't. When it's not what's coming up and it's not the way it's coming together and it's not how it feels, I really have to just default, honestly, to what I'm getting. So there we go. Let's pull a couple of, or at least one, Manifesting Your Greatness card. I will shuffle and then come back with a card in a second. Okay, and this will be the final message of the week. Is live in the moment. So yeah, that's our big message moving forward, for the week. Live in the moment. Just stay with what's happening right now. All right, folks, hang in there. Reach out if you need to. Again, if you've got a person in your life who is unwell, and in need of prayer, even if that's you, or in need of practice. That's what I do really. You call it prayer, but it's practice. Let me know, because I can absolutely very happily include you in the practices that I'm working on, or include any family member, friends, acquaintances, people you've heard of, etc. If you've got a name and you've got a rough kind of age and a physical location, that seems to be helpful in helping me locate the person when I'm doing my practice. That is something I'm very happy to do. All right. Hang in there, everyone. We're in this together, and we're ultimately headed in the right direction. It's rough getting there. Okay. See you next week. Bye.